Hello everyone, how are you today? It is Sharon here with another live DIY for you on the Essential Stencil page. I'm also cross-posting over to my IRESTORESTUFF page. So welcome wherever you're joining me from. Let me know where you're watching from. We're also live in our event that's on the Facebook page on Essential Stencils page. So how's your Christmas shopping going, everybody? Christmas baking? Are we doing any Christmas crafting? Let me know. Let us know in the comments. Also, if you're watching the replay, there's a chance to win prizes in the 24 hours after we've gone live. So don't forget to comment the word replay. And Essential Stencil will be choosing some winners from your comments. So let me know where you're watching from. Just having a look over here on our on our Essential Stencil page to make sure I can see you all. Lois is here. And I am seeing people now join, so that's great. I'm doing this crafty box today. Now it's very light. I don't even know what type of wood this is. It's definitely not pine. It's that really light, almost like balsa wood, I guess, but not sure what it is. Found it at a thrift store. No, it was like one of those dollar stores. So, but you can always find similar stuff online. You can always find similar stuff on Amazon. I do have an Amazon affiliate link that I can send if you want my supply list, which I list a lot of things on there and ideas of things to stencil on. I've got a whole stenciling supplies list there on my Amazon. So hi Dorothy. Yeah, let me know if you want that link and I can pop on there after the live and if I miss your comments now. Lisa's here, Mag is here, Danielle's here. Hello. Lots of people popping on from all over the USA. I'm from Australia, if you couldn't tell or if you haven't seen me before and you couldn't tell by my accent. That's where I'm from. And as you can tell by my tank top here, it's sweltering in Queensland here at the moment because we are moving on into summer. So today, I know we've been doing a lot of Christmas crafting and I hope you took advantage of whatever Boxing Day, no, not Boxing Day, Black Friday sales. In Australia, we do Boxing Day sales and it's kind of like a frenzy, just like it is over there on your Black Friday sales. So maybe some of you have taken advantage of some Black Friday sales and some of them are still going on. I'll be letting you know about some of Essential stencils that I saw that are still on sale for under $5, which is amazing. There's some of those that are still online. Well, they were of last night, so it's morning here. I'll check. You can check that to see if they're still on sale when I give you what they are. All right, so I've got a couple of signboards, and I found these at a thrift store, and they were literally a shelf. So you can see it's got a couple of little screw holes in there, and it had a wire shelf hanger that just hung like this, and I thought, and they were only $1 at the thrift store, so I thought they're always great for making signs instead of a shelf. I'm creating signs out of them, so they're really light boards as well. So I figured we'd use a couple of those today. I have sort of stained it with a bit of a wash, but this one is just completely raw. Not sure what we'll do. Let's have a look what we've brought today. I do have a couple of different options. We could maybe just do a little of a dry brush with white on there. Oh, we're jumping in on the comments now. And Joyce Ann says it's a bit of a cool day in Kentucky, 41 degrees right now. Wow. And thank you so much, Tracy, for sprinkling. Tracy always sprinkles our lives out there. That just means you've hit the little share button down there, share it out with your Facebook friends who might be interested in DIY projects. Or if you're a business page, you might want to share that there. Or in a group, a crafting group, just check with the craft group's rules and see if you're allowed to share lives in there. Hi, Melinda and Janice. All right, let's get started. As with everything we do here on our lives, if you use my code, IRESTORESTUFF, you can get 10% off any of the Essential Stencils at essentialstencil.com. Couple of stencil sets that I'll be using today that I've listed in our description of the live. So they'll be in the description of the live, and also Essential Stencil will come on and they will pin those to the top post, so top comments, so that you can see those. Excuse me. I'll be thinking of gift ideas for Christmas. So with this little box crate type idea, I thought of using this Mug Life. So we'll be using this stencil set, Mug Life. And I thought of a great idea to put your coffee and condiments and things like that. You could also use it as a bit of a hamper type gift, and add a bunch of Christmas goodies like hot chocolate, cocoa, ingredients for baking if you wanted to. And then at the end, the gift receiver could still use this box as a little shelf sitter for their coffee things. So we've got, these are the stencils in the set, and I'll let you know soon which ones I'll be using on here. But first, coffee. Then there's Mug Life. We've got Rise and Grind. That's cute. Hug in a Mug. Now, I do want to mention also that there's only 5 of this set left that I saw. There was only 5 left on the stencil site. So this is one I thought we could use on the box, on the crate too, as a little bit of a background. Coffee beans, coffee bar, and a home stencil, of course, with a mug on it. Oop, wrong way, and back to front. So that's one of the sets that I'll be using, and I thought we could also do one of these signboards using that set, but also just wanted to add a little bit of Christmas in here because we are still crafting for Christmas, aren't we? Let me know if you're crafting for Christmas. You might even be crafting right now as we're doing our live, and that's always fun to see who's doing what, so let me know what you're working on. This is the Santa Baby set, and that would make a cute sign, so we're going to use a couple of these signs. We've got North Pole, Santa is coming to town, sleigh rides. Oh, I've got that back to front and upside down. There we go. Sleigh rides, Santa Baby, and then we've got Santa's face. I'll let you know what I'm using. Santa's face, and I'm going to use the cookies for Santa so that you can leave a little sign out for Santa on Christmas Eve to let him know that he's got some cookies waiting for him. So we'll use those two for one of our signs. I'll pop that aside. And let's get started on our box here. So we'll pop the camera down so we can see what we're working on. Right there. Okay. So I think we'll use a bit of a dry brush method. Or what I didn't get was a piece of cardboard. Tori, would you mind grabbing a piece of cardstock or cardboard that I can just offload my brush on? Because that's just an essential part of stenciling. I'm using Fusion's Picket Fence, which is one of their brightest white, but seriously, you can use any acrylic-based paint for stenciling. And we're going to just dip it really, just a tiny bit in there. So just here, behind here, there should be some behind here. Thanks. Let me just have a look. Hi Tammy, hi Cassie. Kathy's here as well, Erin's here, awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. All right, so we've got just a random piece of cardboard here that you can see that I've used for offloading before. Someone's going to ask me for the measurements. If you haven't asked me already, I'll let you know. This box is just approximately 11.5, almost 12 inches this way by approximately 8.5 to almost 9 inches in this way. So if you were using it on a shelf to just as a drawer to pull in and out, you could stencil something here, or you could do it on the side for a fun shelf idea also. All right, so what I'll do is I'll just dry brush this sides to just give it a bit of a, I don't know, a driftwood, barnwood kind of a look. I'm just putting a tiny bit of paint on the brush, and I'm offloading most of that onto here, onto the cardboard. Then I'm going to drag it across and see if I can just get a little bit of white. If I'm not getting any, I use a bit harder pressure. So at the moment you can see it's not really going on too hard. It gives a bit of a whitewash or driftwood look. So I may need a little bit more on my brush because there's really not a lot of whitewash look there. So just adding a touch more on the brush, and I'll offload it here. And then we'll go again. You can see that it's hit the side, it's hit that little join right there, which is a fun thing. It hits all the grooves and the joins. So as I go and dry brush along, if I have too much on my brush, it would cause a massive like blob or streak at one end as you're starting to go along. but you can just see a really subtle start of a whitewash. So you can always add more, but it's harder to take it off once you've got it on there. Although you could wait till it dries properly and then sand it off. So I'll just give that another light pull across there. See if we can see that starting to dry brush on there. It's giving it a beautiful whitewash look. You can still see the grain of the wood through there. Another way to do a whitewash look is by literally watering down your paint and just creating a wash and adding that. So I'm only working on this bottom section just because I wanted to give you the look of what it, to contrast that look. You could even flick these edges here and just get it along the edges as well. So there you go. You can see that it's starting to sit in the grain and create a bit of a whitewash look, a wash sort of a look. Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining us today on Essential Stencils page. I'm also cross-posting live over onto my IRESTORESTUFF page, so you might be watching there as well. But I will be watching the comments and looking at the comments from the Essential Stencil page, because that's where we'll be giving away prizes today at the end of our live. And if you are watching the replay, of course, we give away prizes in the 24 hours after we've gone live. So Essential Stencil will be choosing from our comment section. So make sure you're joining in the conversation for a chance to win. Is there anyone watching and you just saw the live pop up in your feed? Maybe someone's shared it and you have never stenciled before. Let us know. If you're brand new to stenciling, never tried it, maybe you've even ordered your first batch of Essential Stencils, and let us know if you're brand new to stenciling and you haven't even tried it yet. That would be great to know. Look at that. I love how that's turning out. So if we want to do that, we can continue that all the way around our crate, box, whatever we want to call it. We're creating a mug life stencil, a bit of a coffee crate today, which you could use as a gift for the coffee lover in your life. Just going along these edges here, see how that's sort of creating a bit of a white look inside there, in the edge. I haven't got enough up on the top there. And then we'll be using the Santa Baby stencils in a little bit as well. Both of those are mini sets. Now the coffee mug life one, there are only 5 sets left, so if you have not got this set and you would like it, I'd jump over there now, pop that in your cart before they run out. And you can always jump back and join in the live and catch up where we were left off. See how I'm also going over those edges of the handle there, and you can sort of see a little bit of white detail coming in on the edge. Again, like I was saying, you can just do more or less, however much you like on that. Add a bit more if you think it needs more. Press harder with harder pressure if you'd like to see more of that white on there. And I like the way that that's turning out. So here's the before, it's just plain, and then we've got that white look coming in. So we'll leave that for now, sort of half done, and we may even be able to flick this across the top too, add a bit more white on there. And I can always finish that off later doing the other sides to make it sure it's all even. We will do the other sides, but for my stenciling purposes this morning, I'll just start with that. I'll pop this brush. If I want to do the other side and I need something to put my brush in, I either use a wet cloth to wrap it in or a plastic bag. So I've just got one of these little packaging bubbles that I cut the top off, and perfect brush size, perfect brush size. Okay guys, I'm going to sit down. All right, so we've got our mini signs, our coffee signs. Christine says you like the subtle effect. It is, it's nice and subtle. And I'm trying to think of which one I was going to do. Coffee bar, I was going to do this, this is the coffee beans, and use that for a little bit of a, well, rise and grind is fun. See, I tried to figure out which ones actually fit on the box, because some of them might have a font that has, you know, letters that curl down over it. This Rise and Grind one fits perfectly on this, and the measurement for the height, but you could just use any crate that's actually going to fit your stencils. So you can go take your stencil set into your craft store and check it out. So this is almost 5 inches, not quite, it's about 4 3/4 in height. And the mini stencils are 6 by 6 inches, okay? So if you wanted to make sure it fit, grab a 6-inch box. So there we go. That fits perfectly right there. So I might just do Rise and Grind, and then we'll add a little bit of this coffee beans as the background. And you could turn it around then. It could be a seasonal box. You could do something Christmas here and then something coffee here. So several different options. The other ideas I thought of, and I'll show you those now, is using it for a bit of a laundry type gift hamper or bathroom gift hamper with beautiful, you know, bath salts, bath bombs, bath, you know, washers, all that kind of stuff. And you could use these bathroom stencils, which come with 6 plus a bonus, so there's 7 stencils in there, and you can use some of those, like wash your hands, or what else have we got? Splish Splash, So Fresh and Clean, Hello Sweet Cheeks, Comb Your Hair, Brush Your Teeth. And then, of course, we've got the male-female bathroom sign, which doesn't quite fit on the height of that. But you get the idea. That would be a great gift idea. Grab a crate, put a stencil on it that's appropriate, and just thought I'd let you know that idea. Also, I did want to let you know, because I went onto Essential Stencil last night and saw these stencil sets are all, I hope this is still right, under $5. They're still on sale for under $5. I just want to run those through really quickly because I didn't want anyone to miss out on this. They're still on sale. If you type in sale in the search bar on Essential Stencils, you'll find these, $4.95 or something like that. Absolute bargain. This is a whole, a porch leaner, deck the halls. Porch leaner. We've got the little toy soldiers that there's 3 different styles of, and then you've got your candy cane and what do you call that? Poinsettia and candy cane. So that's a 2-pack. That's a really large one. The Christmas tree, decorate a Christmas tree. So it's a Christmas tree, and then it's got all the decorations which you put on the tree. So it's kind of a layered stencil. That was at the bargain price of $4.95, and so was this. And the soul felt its worth. And joy to the world, the Lord has come. So those are all, I just thought I'd pick those out, show them to you, because you may have missed out on those over the years. Great Christmas stencils that are on sale still right now. So I thought we'd do, excuse me, coffee bean or woodwick. We could even mix a little if we wanted to, and add, and I can always go over the top. I might start with this chocolate brown colour. This is Fusion's chocolate. It's actually called chocolate. And we're going to be using, whoops, some stencil brushes. So these brushes are back in stock. We've got the large, the 7/8, 3/4, 5/8 inch and 1/2 inch brushes. All those are available, and I think there could still be some pink brushes back in stock. Just going to use this one for now. So we just need the tiniest brush. If you've never stenciled before, let us know, because there's lots of help here on Essential Stencil Facebook page, and on their website there's tutorials on there you can click onto. So I'm offloading this. I don't want to put it on that white where I've just been, so I'm just offloading my brush. And what it's doing at the same time is working that into the bristles of the end of your stencil brush. So it's sort of what we call a dry brush method. And you can tape this down if you wanted to, and maybe I'll do that. I was just going to see if I can bring it a little bit closer to where it's on the camera. And we'll just take the beans right to the end. I'll have some, you could put it sort of right there, but I think I'll have some coming off the end and off the top, so that it sort of looks like it's a pattern that continues off the edges. So I will just tape one side down maybe, because this one goes over the corner, so it's a little bit harder to tape. And just put a little bit there just to secure it so it doesn't really go anywhere. And I've got that paint on my brush. It may not be enough, but I'd rather have not enough and do it a second coat than, yep, there is plenty on the brush, even though I thought there was hardly anything on it. Like if I brushed my hand right now, just got a tiny bit of paint on there, but it's really, really a dry brush. So sometimes if you do see some bleeding underneath your stencil, when you lift up the stencil and there's still paint seeping under the stencil, that's what we call bleed underneath. If you're seeing that, it just means you've got too much on your brush, even though you think you've offloaded it onto your cardboard. You just need to offload more. And so that's probably going to only, yeah, this one's really light. See how it's hardly any coming on right there? So I can add more to my brush now, but I do want to still offload that onto my cardboard. Can't see that very well. I'll bring it over a bit and make sure it's fairly dry. And I'm doing a swirling method. Sometimes people like to stipple the stencil, but with these brushes I really find it's easier to swirl and you get better coverage on those. So here we go again, and if you're not getting enough on the stencil, just use just a little bit more pressure. But it's better to start with light pressure to start with, so you don't push it all underneath the stencil and then add to the pressure as you go along. Now I've got a bit more still on this cardboard here because I kind of wiped it off on there. And here we go again. So I've got hardly any on here, so I want to do that one again, but I'm going to start here with a fully loaded, although very dry brush. And then I'm going to come back to this one and just add a little bit to that. And I can still see that I've got a bit more on the cardboard to rub onto that. So there we go. Going onto the edge now. See, those beans are just coming off the edge of my... And you could just do an even lighter coat to make it really subtle in the background so that it's not too much of a dark pattern. You could just make it really subtle and make it a light pattern. So I've just gone to that where it starts to go around the bend on this box. It's got curved sides, so I didn't want to go too close to the end because then you have to sort of curve the stencil a bit, which is still possible, but to make it easier, I'm just going to go to the end right there and ready to see the finished result. Ta-da! We've got a cute coffee bean pattern. And it looks about halfway, so hopefully this will work for, I think it'll work, so I'll just pop this around this way. And I've got to sort of measure that distance there, make sure it's very similar to what we've got here so that we can get it in the right spot. And the beans are all facing the right way. It looks about right to me. Hopefully it'll all look like it's just one seamless pattern going across there. So I haven't added anything to the brush yet. I found out I do still need a little bit more. Add a bit more, offload it on here. And just going over it again where I feel like it's a bit light. You can go over it again. So see how I'm just holding down this end with this hand, and we've got the tape there to secure that end. Oh, thanks, Mona. Well, this one's going a fair distance. I've got some more right here. So if I wanted to, I was going to add another lighter brown on top. I might just try that too, because that could just add to the effect and give it more of a mocha chocolatey coffee bean look. But coffee beans are quite dark actually, so that does suit the coffee bean look. One more row there. Hi Sonia. Yeah, Vic, it is a nice size gifting box. It's perfectly perfect. This one's just going a little bit around the corner, but I think it should still look even. No one's going to go and measure my box when they receive it as a gift, are they? To see if it's right off. I think it'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, they look like coffee beans to me. So if you wanted to, you could make it a bit lighter by going over that with another colour. But we'll just leave it as that for now. Now to go over the top of that, so we've got that stencil there. I've got that chocolate. If I want to use it again, it's good to put it in a plastic bag. Maggie's asking where you buy those boxes. You can get similar on Amazon. I do have an Amazon affiliate link that's got my stencil supplies and that kind of thing on that. And I don't have the exact one, but similar crates and things like that you can use. But I would just check out your craft stores, because I'm in Australia. I can't really tell you where I got this. It was just at one of those dollar stores. It's a very light wood. I'm not sure exactly what kind of wood that is, but okay, we could do coffee bar. I think I was going to go with rise and grind. And so we're going to place that in the center. Now, because we've got this busy background, it's going to be difficult to see the words unless I do some kind of a contrasting color. So I am going to go with white, and hopefully that will stand out enough and really make it pop on this box. I'm just trying to figure out what the center is, center of the box, and make sure I've got that centered from top to bottom also. So we'll just pop a little piece of tape there and a little piece on the other side. You don't have to have much tape just to keep it in place. Can I share that link? I think I've got it right here. Let me just have a look for you. It's going to come into the comments as Sharon Hankins. So I'm just popping that in the comments there. That's my Amazon list of like stenciling supplies and things that I have got in the past to use for stenciling. Okay, so using a 5/8 inch brush, you could use any really. I just kind of matched the size, the roundness of the brush to the size of the lettering. So this one you could use a small to medium size brush, and I'm just using a bright white of Picket Fence in Fusion Mineral Paint colour. That's the one that we were using for that background wash before. And I do have an affiliate link for the Fusion paint if you were interested in that. If you can't find a retailer near you, my link will just get you straight to their Canada supplier, and they ship it directly to you in the USA. So offloading again my brush, and now I've got, it's very dry. See how there's no blobs of paint left in there? It's almost dry, and so that's what we want. And you can always add more to the brush. See, I'm seeing that I have barely put anything on there. So to me, I already know I'm going to need to add more to my brush. Add more white. But it's better to have less and then add some more than to have too much on your brush and get all that bleeding underneath your stencil. And it creates fuzzy edges on your stencil. It doesn't make them crisp and clean. So, oh, thank you, Tammy. Yeah, I like the pattern too, Bonnie. It's very cute, coffee beans. So you won't probably be able to see the words here until I take it off the stencil, because at the moment it sort of looks a little busy. But we're getting there. Added a bit more, still going to add some more. Okay, so adding just a tiny bit at a time, using my brush, blopping it in the paint and rubbing off the excess onto a piece of cardstock, and then just using a nice light swirly method. If you're finding that it's not going on too well, then you can add a little bit more pressure. But it's good to just start with a light swirl first. So now you can start to see it's filling in, and it may need a second coat. It depends on the wood surface. So this has got some grain and it's very raw wood that we've been painting on. And so some of that, some of those kind of surfaces, you may find you'll have to do a second coat, but I'll do that after. I'll let this one dry first and I'll do that other surface after. So let's go down here with this grind word. So it looks pretty solid there, but when I did this one, I feel like the paint just kind of soaked into the wood a bit, so I can still see that it's not as solid now. I don't know, maybe I just had more on my brush. But like I said, better to have less on your brush and do another coat than have too much and have it fuzzy edges bleeding under. Okay, now we'll go on with the word "and" in the middle, adding a little bit more paint. I'm getting to the bottom of my barrel here on that paint pot. Okay, now the word "and." Go with the middle first. Now when we have lines on a stencil, I like to go with the line. So just kind of swipe it across the line, in and then out from each end. You can just kind of wiggle it in the lines. Okay, so I'll just have a little peek, see if we might need to, so you can see the word "rise." It doesn't feel like it's filled in enough, whereas the grind has a little bit more filling in, but I can still see some coffee beans in the background. So we'll see what it looks like when I lift it up. Yeah, you can see this kind of looks distressed. Excuse me, I've got some frogs in my throat today. This one looks a little bit more clear. So we could also use that as a shadow in a background, and that'll really make it pop. That's what I sometimes do. I think, is that pattern too busy for the words? If so, I use the white as a background to pop, and then maybe add a black or a really contrasting color on the top of it. So I'm going to lay that back down exactly where it was and add another coat of white. I might just hit that with my hairdryer first to make sure it's really dry before I do my second coat. Sandy says the letters are showing up well. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Sometimes it looks better on the video than it does in real life. Sometimes vice versa. I'm glad that they can stand out for you there, so that's good. I will have another look. Yeah, it does. They do stand out. You can tell what it says. Okay, just popping that back down again. And I do have a little bit of white left here on my cardboard, so I'm going to add that to my brush. And now we're going to go over this again so that it's a nice solid look. That's filling in that R again a bit more. I do have my water mister. If you feel like your brush is getting too dry, I've got a bit of a water mister here. I don't know if you can see that. If I move this over. It's just a very, very fine mist. You don't want your brush wet, okay? So if your brush is too wet, that it will bleed under. But I can just tell that it's going to need just a tiny bit of moisture, and then it helps spread the paint into those grooves of the grain of the wood. It is a little bit of practice, trial and error. Like, I've been doing this for years, and so I can kind of have a feel of what's going to work and what's not. And if you are just beginning, I always recommend practicing on a piece of cardboard or something like that, or a piece of paper, so that you can really get a feel for how it works. and I can still see some little coffee beans in here, so I'm just going to go for a little bit more solid look on that word grind. Yeah, I feel like that's going to cover a whole lot better, so we may not need that shadow effect on this one. Could turn out just fine. And then we can start on some other signs. I could do a little Christmas sign and then another coffee sign if we have time. So this is an idea I thought would be great for the side of a crate that you could fill with gifts for Christmas. Fill with some kind of coffee related stuff. Could do coffee beans if you have someone who loves coffee, or those pods. You could fill it with pods, a mug, a couple of mugs. I'm just going to add a little bit more here. I feel like the top section has a bit more grain in it, like the wood grain showing up, if that makes sense. Okay, let's have a look and see if that's better. I think that stands out nicely now. Rise and grind. Beautiful. So we'll set that one aside. Like I said, you can still fit some stencils on here. If you wanted to add that around the side, you could add the beans all the way around, but we've just sort of worked on that one side for now. And let us take a look at our next board. So I've got a couple of different boards this size that I was saying earlier in the live. I found at a thrift store, and it was a wall hanger with some wire that was hooked screwed underneath, and it came over into a little triangle shape to hang it on the wall. And I'm going to use these stencils from our, can't find the packet, oh there it is. It's the Santa Baby set, so if you don't have this one already, that is on the Essential Stencil website. We've got a link for that somewhere in the comments. In that pinned comment there you'll find that. I am going to use the white brush again, so I may not need to put it away if I can get my stencil ready in time. So I went through these earlier. If you missed that, you can catch the replay, and we went through these, or you can just go to the website and that link and it'll show you exactly what's in the set. Where's my Santa's cookies? I was going to use Santa's cookies. There we go. And Santa's smiley face. Now, this board, the size of this board, you might want to get one a little bigger. You might want to find a 6-inch wide board, because my board just barely fits. It doesn't fit exactly the Santa head on it, and it's only 4 and maybe 3/4 inches. So it'll fit Santa's cookies minus some stars, but we can add some more stars later. And I'm going to add the Santa's head over here. I'm going to turn him slightly sideways so that it does fit. So you can see that cookies for Santa fits here, and Santa's face, it just comes off. It sort of would lose his hat, a little bit of beard here. You could do it that way. I just felt like you could just also make it go sideways as well. And it doesn't matter if it comes off, because you can still tell that it's Santa. But if I was you, grab a different size board. But you know me, I like to try and fit whatever with whatever I find. So we're going to place the Santa's cookies there. If you've got a bigger board, you could actually put a little round circle where you're going to leave Santa's cookies. I know Essential Stencil had a year or two ago a fun Santa's cookies and snacks for reindeers big stencil that was like a placemat stencil, and I think that was in the Stencil of the Month club. Some of you might remember that one. It's a fun one for leaving for Santa's cookies. All right, I could probably place this one at the same time with my tape. Oop, just moved it. Doesn't really matter. And with the stars that are on this one, you could add some more stars afterwards, or you could just tape those stars off altogether, because this one might look a bit odd if we see a star coming out off the top here. Some of them it doesn't matter, but because there's no stars in between, I'll just make sure that I don't hit those by adding a bit of tape to those. We've got stars here, and I'll just add those ones afterwards. Okay, so going over this with the white, I do still have some white on my board right here. Oh, Rhonda, you just made 2 of those treat stencils for upcoming show. Yeah, they're great, aren't they? Joyce Ann, use the smaller Santa for the wood tags yet. Oh yeah, it would too. That might even fit better on this one. I think it'll still look fine. Now I have just added a bit of stain to these boards to make them sort of, the white will stand out a lot better. So again, just like the other one, I'm going to go over this, making sure I don't hit the edge. Now if you feel like you're going to go over the edge, place a bit of tape right there so that you miss it and you don't get it on the edge. See, the two O's are shaped like little cookies with sprinkles on them. You could make those in a different colour also if you wanted to. Oh yeah, how about putting them vertical, Linda said. Would they fit like that? Cookies at the top and Santa on the bottom. So she's suggesting that we use it this way, and you could put Santa on the top, cookies on the bottom. I'll have a look at that in a minute and see if that would fit. Oh, actually, I can see now. So the cookies would come out a little bit wider, but that's a great idea if you had a board that was just a fraction wider. And if you did have it a fraction wider, it would fit better with what I'm doing also. Oh, we're doing the stars. Got all the letters in there. Just wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. We've got our stencil brush with hardly any paint on it, so it'll make it nice and crisp edges. Whereas if you have too much paint, you get that fuzzy edged look on your stencil lettering. And we don't want that. I feel like we need just a little bit more, so I'm just adding a bit more of this white. I've got a blob of white paint down here that I'm grabbing from. All right, that's one. Let's do our outline of our Santa. Now we want to add probably a little bit of red for his hat and that kind of thing, but what I'm going to do first is add it just a whole solid white around the outline, and that'll be sort of like a base for our red if we want to put the red on top. And of course you can, this is just an outline of Santa, then you can use some of those detail brushes. Essential Stencil has about a set of 5 of these detail brushes that are great for filling in the details of your stencils. So you can either paint inside the lines, or it'll also help you to join the letters in those areas where stencils have to have what we call a bridge, to bridge our letters together to make sure that the letters all stay together. And so some people prefer not to have those little lines in their lettering, and so you can just go over those with your detail brushes. And they are on the Essential Stencil site as well. Don't forget to use my code IRESTORESTUFF and save 10% on anything that I'm talking about today, as far as stencils, brushes, transfers as well, rub-on transfers. We have a great range of rub-on transfers. And I still think there's plenty of those left there. I am going to use my Misty bottle again. I feel like my white paint is drying out. It is a classic Santa face, isn't it? People are making comment about Santa face. It's very cute. So he will just be an outline of a Santa face, and then, like I said, you can have the option to fill it in. Okay, I think we're ready to look at that, see how this turned out over here. So we've got that all filled in. You could do them one at a time if you wanted to and just see how that worked. So there's our cookies for Santa. I think that turned out nicely. It stands out enough. And then let's have a look at Santa's face. See how I mean it just comes slightly off the end of the board, but that's okay. It looks just fine. In fact, I think I might, instead of going over that red with the with the stencil, I might do that red Santa's hat using the detail brushes. So we'll pop this brush in the bag in case you want to do some white again in a minute. And I'll find out, this is Fort York red, so lovely bright red. Is that Santa part of the Stencil of the Month pack? No, so we're not using Stencil of the Month Club set today. We are using this set, and it's called Santa Baby Set. So you'll see that in the link that's pinned to the comment on the top of this live. If you're watching on the computer, you'll see that. Maybe if you're watching on the phone, you don't see it. But there's a pinned comment. It's also in the description of our live where you can find that. And don't forget to use the code IRESTORESTUFF, save a further 10%. So it's a set of 6 different stencils, and they're all lots of fun. So let me have a look. I thought we have 6. We do have 6 different detail brushes from Essential Stencil. So I probably want to use the one that's got the widest bunch of bristles, which is this one. It's a number 3. So they're all different artist detail numbers, but you can use some of the really tiny thin ones to just fill in those little stencil word bridges. Okay, so using this red, let's see how we go with this red hat, and just being careful to, I just want to dip my brush in here, but I am still going to use my cardboard to offload a lot of that excess paint on the brush, because I don't want to, I could offload it in the center here, because what I'm going to do is fill out his hat, makes it really stand out then. And we've got that outline of the white there still, but it doesn't matter if we go over some of the white. We could actually even outline the whole Santa's hat with the red and a stencil brush by taping off our stencil where we were using it before, but I thought it's nice to have that little outline. We'll see how it looks. Just offloading a lot of that on the brush there. Yeah, I don't think this set shouldn't be sold out, but the coffee set that I'm using before, there was only 5 left, but Essential Stencil often has a little section there where you can hit it if it does sell out, to go, oh, I really want this set, please can you tell me when it's restocked? And when enough people want a set, then they will restock that stencil. So it's up to you guys. If you really want one of those sets, or want a set that has sold out, please don't forget to hit that little button that says let me know when this is back in stock. Okay, just going around this edge here. It's a bit tricky. I might have to come off the edge this way. I specialize in painting furniture, so if you visit my blog IRESTORESTUFF.com, you'll see a bunch of my furniture painting stuff on there, but I'm not an artist, so when it comes to actual painting and drawing and stuff like that, I feel a little bit inadequate. And I've seen some great artwork that people have done actually using Essential Stencils as a base for their art. Some of our ambassadors do a great job of that. I think it's Tammy who does a lot of art with her stencils, and it looks great, filling in all the little gaps and the details and making it really cute. So do we leave the Santa's hat like this, or do I also fill in this bit? Isn't that like a white? Should I fill that in white? I feel like I'm going to be doing some filling in here, guys. So we could fill that in white, couldn't we? There's no other red. Is there any other red on Santa? Let me know if there's any other red that I should be filling in. Maybe I should fill in white here and white for the little pom-pom on the back of his hat. Maybe I could fill in his beard also. Oh, I didn't bring my water to dip the brushes in. I'll just have to use that there. Let's have a look at the white and as some detail. Oh, where are they? I'll use this one. White pom-pom, you're saying, and a white brim. Yeah, okay. I thought I was right. You know how you just second guess yourself? I'm like, am I right here? I don't have a Santa in front of me to have a look. Yes, so we'll do that white. We'll do the white Santa brim, because it does look good filled in, doesn't it? So adding a bit of that here. Oh, my brush must have had a little bit of something on it. And this one, because we've got the white around the edge, it does. Yeah, we've got the outline is white as well. So, but you will see a difference when you've got an outline and then when you're filling in. Sometimes when we've stenciled the outline, it is a bit lighter because I use that dry brush method of stenciling. Let's dip that in again there. Yeah, do you think that's better, filling it in instead of just having the outline there? Let me know what you think. Would you leave yours just an outline? I feel like it gives it a bit more a solid look on the Santa hat there. Santa's cookies. Okay, let me know. I want to know, do you make cookies for Santa for your kids to put out? And what kind of cookies? That's the magic question. I have a feeling maybe chocolate chip cookies. What's Santa's favorite? I have no idea. Do your kids know? What's Santa's favorite cookie? Or what cookie do you traditionally make for Santa cookies? Is he a healthy Santa? Does he have oatmeal cookies or something? I don't know. Are they any healthier than chocolate chip cookies? I feel like, because it's got the word oat in it, it sounds healthier. I don't know. All right, so it's kind of, you can see lines and so on, but I feel like that still works, right? I might leave his beard, or you could even play with that. I just feel like I'm not the artist to try these things, but some of you probably are. I've seen some of your work in our Stencil of the Month Club, and some of you are great at the art thing and embellishing these. Sugar cookies with icing. Yes, frosted sugar cookies, chocolate chip or frosted sugar cookies. Oh, it's making me hungry for cookies right now. Iced. Oh, I can imagine some of your cookies will be in all sorts of fun shapes, like reindeer shapes, Christmas trees, stars. I like some of those ideas for cookies for Christmas. Okay, there's the pom-poms. So how's that looking? Do we need to add some to his beard or what? Oh, and carrots for the reindeer. Can't forget those. Oh, someone does chocolate. Always had chocolate chip for Santa, Cheryl says. Yeah. Okay, so because the beard has these little lines in it, I don't know, we could do some swirliness for his beard, or we could leave it as is. Oh, you know what? You could add a little bit of blush, some of that blush red on his cheeks, couldn't you? We could go to town with that, but I'm going to leave it like that just for now. But let me know what you would do to fill that in. Now, I could probably seal that now because I've got a wash on there. So you always, when you use a wash, I tend to seal mine, and you can use something like a clear tough coat sealer like this, or any kind of acrylic sealer. I think I'm finished with that one for now. So I do have one more little board here, and I was going to go back to that the coffee stencils that we used. If you missed that earlier, we made this little crate box for some fun coffee stencils. And I had an idea we could just add a bit of fun to another signboard using our... Oh, we're just about out of time. So maybe I won't have time. Let's have a look real quick. But first, coffee. I feel like that would be the... Oh, we've got coffee bar. That would be cute too. So you could do coffee bar, but first, coffee. Either one would be cute. And I'll do the coffee bar. Just do that quickly in white, and then you can add some beans and sprinkle those to the side, or you could add a mug. I did see a mug here, the home mug, so we could add some coffee beans one side and then just tape off this mug to do the other side. Let's see how fast I can do this. And don't go anywhere, because at the end of our live, Essential Stencil will pick out some prize winners. Adding some white again, because I like the way that the white stands out in contrast against a nice stained wood. And here we go. It's my speedy version of stenciling. And even if you don't fill it all in sometimes and just leave it really rough stenciling, it gives it a really nice aged, worn, vintage look. So let's go for that idea. Since I'm trying to finish before the hour is up. So you'll see that I haven't filled it in completely solid. We've left a bit of room for some rusticity. Is that a word? Some rusticness. So you can see there it's not totally filled in, but watch when I pull this off. See how it just gives it a nice soft, almost distressed look. And see how fast and super quick that was. You are fast. Yeah. Sometimes I just am like, let's go for it, let's do this. So with this, I'm going to add a little bit of a mug right here. I want to make sure that I'm not going to get the sides and that, so I probably will need a bit more tape about that size. Make sure I don't get that letter or this letter. And then we're going to add, I think that's in the right spot, add a bit of that. And again, you could add, you know, a little red to the heart if you wanted to take that off also. So this is the, I think it's called the Mug Life, a Mug Life set. And, oops, I'm being very careful not to get on those edges over there. And once again, we're just kind of giving it a rough stencil over, and that gives it a bit of a vintage vibe. So see how it's just sort of really rough, but it lends to a vintagey vibe. Now where's those coffee beans gone? That's the thing that I should have probably, if you were going to do this, I would probably wash that off first, because I use those for this stencil here, so it's got a bit of brown on it. But watch this, I'll see if this works. If I flip it over, and I just want to do a few beans right here. So I'm just going to do a few to make it like an image. I don't want it to look like a pattern, I just want it to look like an image of 3 beans hanging out on the sign. So let's see, who wants to be those 3 beans? You guys, all right. I am talking to a stencil. And these are the beans. And just make sure you've taped off all the ones you don't want to use, so they sort of look like they're in a nice arrangement there. Just sitting there hanging out. Okay, add a touch more. And here we go, nice and rough, big old swirl. Don't go anywhere, folks, because we are about to pick some winners for Essential Stencil live. And don't forget, if you're watching the replay, comment the word replay within the 24 hours after we go live for another chance of winning prizes. Grab my plastic bag, see how this turned out. We've done 3 little projects today. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'll rip that off and we'll see, ta-da, those 3 little beans on the air. So it's just on the end, so it's just enough to make it look like a coffee bar. You could do 3 beans here, 3 beans there, 2 mugs, you know, there's all sorts of things that you could do with that. So there's a project we did today. There's another one, Santa's cookies. And then our last one, our first one, so if you missed this one, this is the one we did first, is this little idea for a crate with rise and grind on there. Fill it with goodies that make sense, you know, coffee stuff, hot chocolate, whatever you want to put on there. And now we're ready to pick some winners. And you can watch the replay if you missed any of the first part there. So there are our winners today. Let me show you, let me speak them out. I want to say your names. We've got Wanda and Bonnie and Linda. Please email support@essentialstencil.com and let them know where to send your prizes today. And I'm Sharon from the blog I Restore Stuff. You can catch me at I Restore Stuff on any of the social media platforms, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel with all my tutorials on there also. And I'll catch you again next week for another fun live DIY. Thanks. Bye.